Hello there guys, it's LaserBeast here, and today we're going to have a look at the talents for hunters in Dragonflight, and we're going to see what the baseline abilities are for the hunters as a class as a whole, and then dig into some talents and look at some potential builds and see what they're looking like. And we'll do that for each of the specs. So when we first look at the baseline abilities for the hunter class, we see that we've only actually got 2 DPS abilities as baseline, which isn't a big deal because some of these are probably not going to be very useful. We've got Arcane Shot, which is probably going to be useless for survival, and probably not that much use for BM as well. So we're sticking with our baseline hunter utility, so every spec has got aspect of the cheetah, which is nice, and it's in its form where you get the big initial burst of speed at 90% for 5 seconds and another 30% for another 9 seconds after that, so that's still quite a nice version of aspect of the cheetah. We've got aspect of the turtle as one of our defensives. We've got the usual pet utility, so healing your pet, dismissing it, and obviously the 5 pet slots, the core pets 1 to 5. We keep exhilaration as our heal ability, and feign death as another defensive, as well as disengage for a bit of movement. And then for crowd control we've got freezing trap, which is good, and then we've also got wing clip as well for a slow, mainly useful for PvP or kiting specific mobs. And then we've got these situational stuff like flare, which is again probably more useful in PvP, and then things like eyes of the beast and eagle eye, which are just still really situational. And we've also got hunter's mark in there as well. So let's dig into the hunter specific talent tree. Now this is actually quite nice, so immediately it's selected for us that every hunter is going to have kill command, which is fine, it's not a bad ability at all. My initial thoughts of this is that the left hand side of the tree seems to be very pet focused, in like buffing your pet and making your pet more tanky, giving it more health, things like that. So this will probably be more useful for maybe PvP, but also if you got out in the world solo and you wanted to solo rares and things like that. So what you may find if you're doing a more raid or Mythic Plus orientated build, you may skip on some of these and take the other more right hand side of the tree. Now what I'll do with these builds, rather than going through all of them that I came up with and going through every single point in the talents, that would take absolutely ages. What I'll do, I'll put links to some of the builds that I've made in the description below, and I'll label them in there. For example, Beast Mastery, Mythic Plus AoE build, or Single Target Raid build, or BM PvP build, things like that. So you can take a look at those and also share with me in the comments some of the builds that you've come up with and what do you think is going to be best for certain situations. Now remember, with this in Dragonflight, we're going to be able to save like presets of loadouts that we're going to use for certain things, so you'll be able to have a Mythic Plus single target orientated build for Tyrannical Weeks, for example, and you're also going to be able to have a PvP build. You could have a 2v2 build and a 3v3 build and an RBG build. You'll be able to save loads of different presets, so it's definitely worth just doing what I did, just sitting down for an hour or so and just playing around with the talents and just seeing what you can get and what you'll have to sacrifice. And to be honest, I found really that with this, there wasn't that many situations where I was really stuck for choice. I found that you can pretty much get most of the abilities that you want, and you don't really have to sacrifice much at all. Because when you think about it, there's certain things that you can sacrifice, but they may not really matter much in specific situations. Like I mentioned about the base hunter talents that every hunter has access to, if you skip on some of the pet stuff and your pet's maybe not as strong as it would be if you put talents into it, then it wouldn't really matter in a Mythic Plus situation, for example. So this is a build I put together for Beast Mastery Hunter AoE sort of profile in a Mythic Plus environment. So you can see straight off the bat on the hunter side of the talents we're picking up kill command, we've got concussive shot as another CC ability, and we've got kill shot. So that's 3 active abilities taken straight away on the first row, which is pretty nice. Moving further down the tree, we're obviously going to want to take counter shot for our interrupt, which is just crucial to have in pretty much any situation. And then we also get access to misdirect, which is nice again for raided or Mythic Plus. And we get the tranquilizing shot, again a lot of use in Mythic Plus. If the dungeons in Dragonflight don't have that many enemies that enrage, then obviously this will be less valuable, but we'll just have to see about that in the future. And we also get tire trap 2 for some nice CC again, for if we want to help our tank kite some packs. Moving further down, we get Intimidation, which is another good stun, another good bit of CC in our kit. We've got Camouflage again, which is optional there, so obviously it may help to skip some packs, but it's kind of situational. This is one you can definitely swap out for something else. Then a bit further down, we go more into the pet side, so we've got Beastmaster to increase the damage of our pet. We've got Stampede for some nice AoE, and then we've got the buffs to kill command and the Alpha Predator one, so either of these you could choose. We've gone for Alpha Predator here because it's useful more of the time. We've given kill command 2 charges and dealing 30% increased damage always, but you could also take Killer Instinct if you wanted to focus more on the execute window. So already, as you can see at the bottom of the screen right now, just from that we've picked up quite a lot of active abilities, be it CC or damage abilities. So then let's move over into the actual Beast Mastery tree itself. So speaking again specifically for this kind of Mythic Plus AoE build, straight away we have to pick up Barb Shot, which is a crucial part of our kit. We get Multi-Shot and Cobra Shot, which again, essential abilities. We'll take Loaded Quiver for the extra charge of Barb Shot, which again is just going to help us keep our rotation flowing easier and give us less room for error. So then we can take Kill Cleave, which will make our Beast Cleave also make Kill Command strike nearby enemies for 50% of the damage, so that's going to beef up your Kill Command and your Beast Cleave window. Then we take a couple of talents on the right hand side, which are going to make our Barb Shot have a higher chance to reset just through combat. We can also nice and easily pick up Bestial Wrath and Aspect of the Wild, our nice 2 big DPS cooldowns there. And then we move slightly over to the left to pick up Stomp, which is again good for our AoE, just consistent AoE damage whenever we press Barb Shot. And then we take the talent Barb Wrath, which is going to cause Barb Shot casts to basically reduce the cooldown and Bestial Wrath and Aspect of the Wild, so we're going to get back into our big burst damage window quicker and quicker with these. And then we're going to go for the one at the end, Blood Frenzy, which is going to make it so that when Call of the Wild is active, Barb Shot is going to affect all your summon pets, so all your pets are going to gain the Frenzy effect. And if you're pairing this up with Bestial Wrath, which you genuinely should be doing, this is going to be massive. Like, quite a nice, satisfying, big damage window there with all that. So like I said, that's just one example of these builds of these new talents. I'm not going to go into loads of other various specs for stuff like PvP because I'm not a big PvP guy, but you can have a look there and see the potential for all these different sorts of builds that focus on different unique niches or situations. What I will say though from looking at these talent trees is for all of the hunter specs is that the play styles are probably going to be quite similar to what they are right now. Obviously we're not going to have tier sets, we might have some different tier set bonuses, that's to be discovered, but the general playstyle of the core of the specs is going to be quite similar. So that's just one thing to note, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. For Beast Mastery in particular, you're probably going to have a couple more buttons to press, which is always nice for one of the most simplest specs in the game. It's nice to see its core kit being beefed out a little bit. Now let's take a look at Survival Hunter talents. So if you are playing Survival Hunter right now, particularly in Mythic Plus, and you like the bomb type builds, you're going to love the fact that this is carrying forward into Dragonflight. So we've got all our usual Wildfire Bomb, Wildfire Cluster, all that sort of stuff. Even carrying forward Wildfire Infusion, but it's slightly different now, it's a bit random. The talent reads that it just has a random enhancement each time we throw it, so we'll probably be able to get a weak aura to see which one it's going to be, but we'll have to figure that out again when Dragonflight comes out, or in the alpha or beta. Again, there's going to be a couple of builds linked in the description below, so we've got like a single target one and a AoE Mythic Plus focus one, which is the one that's on screen now. So again, we'll take a look at the active sort of DPS abilities that you're going to have as part of this build, and also the CC ones as well. I'll put them at the bottom of the video. So all I can really say for this is sort of feedback, is that I do kind of like the way that they've made these and built them out so you can choose between these specific play styles. My biggest hope is that it's not just going to come down to a simple cookie cutter choice of talents as it does right now in the game. So I hope that all these different builds that are free to take are kind of viable, if you know what I'm saying. So for example, with the build that's on screen now, you can see that on the Hunter talents we've taken Stampede down at the bottom there. So it would be a shame if, as a Survival Hunter, you're thinking like, yes, this is cool, I can take this different ability that's never been in my kit as a Survival Hunter before, and then it actually just does really rubbish damage, so it becomes not worth casting, and you might as well just go and take one of the boring other talents, like 2% more movement speed, for example, which isn't really noticeable. Or having to put some talents into, say, for example, your pet's health, which, yeah, cool, it's going to survive a bit better, but really in, say, for example, a Mythic Dungeon, if your pet's got aggro, it's going to die quite quick anyway, so that would feel kind of pointless as opposed to taking a nice fun ability such as Stampede. This is obviously just one example, but I hope you get what I'm saying from this, is that I hope that the talents are kind of all viable. It's going to take some balancing, but I guess this is why they've done these talents, is because they can just tweak one little thing here and there rather than tweaking an entire talent, and maybe just increase the damage if things aren't performing very well, and if things are just undesirable choices, which is what we don't want to see. So yeah, from survival here, so this kind of playstyle with this talent build specifically, you'd revolve around casting your bombs and stuff in AoE as you would, and using butchery, and then hopefully getting the resets of your bombs through casting kill command with the talent setup that you've got here. For example, you've got the talent Explosive Expert, which is going to make kill shot reduce the cooldown of Wildfire Bomb by up to 7.5 seconds, so obviously you're going to want this. And then you've got the talent that's going to help to reset the cooldown on kill shot and make that usable regardless of the target's health, so that's Deadly Duo. So it's a lovely little combo and synergy going on there. Overall, I'm quite happy with the survival talents, and I think that's going to be quite a fun spec to dig into, and if you like it now, you're probably going to love it in Dragonflight as well. So let's go and have a brief look at Marksmanship Talents. Now on the screen I'm showing you a single target, purely single target focused marksmanship build. So the first thing I'll say about this is the talents towards the end of the marksmanship tree are really interesting. I've always found Marksmanship Hunter quite boring, if I'm being totally honest, but with this you're going to get some nice different flavour abilities that are also active abilities. For example, the Wailing Arrow effect, which is the effect from the legendary bow that we saw from the Sanctum of Domination in Shadowlands. It's really cool to see that coming forward, and I think a lot of people won't have had access to that unless you've played Hunter like properly and got that bow or farmed it out. You probably haven't even used that ability yet, so that'd be quite cool to have in your kit. We've got a lot of familiar things returning, such as Rapid Fire, Streamline talent, we've got Surging Shots, we've got talents such as Death Blow, which can have a chance to reset our kill shot mid-combat and make it usable, regardless of the target's current health. And you probably notice as well that when you look at the Hunter side of things for the Marksmanship Hunter, you get kill shot automatically and you don't have to take kill command. So it's entirely possible to still focus on a pet-free marksmanship build. As you can see, Lone Wolf is still a talent there as an option, so 10% more damage when you don't have a pet active. So it's good to see again that that option is there for you if you want to play like that. But if you did want to go for a build with the marksmanship that does focus more on your pet, that's also perfectly possible too. So kind of like a in-between of what we've got now. So you're going to do some alright damage as the hunter yourself, but your pet's also going to be pretty capable too. Now the impact of doing things like this is when it comes to the multiple choice talents, like where you've got Intimidation or High Explosive Trap on the pet side of things, if you're not going to be playing with a pet, obviously you're not going to be taking Intimidation because you don't have a pet there to use that spell. So you're going to have to take High Explosive Trap, which if you're looking at like a Mythic Plus environment, that's not great because you don't really want to be displacing the enemies in a pack when your tanks pull them up all nicely. If you throw your trap in there and blast everything away, people are going to get annoyed. So that's just one possible problem I can see with this. If you have to pick certain talents that don't go very well with the content that you're doing, then it's not great. But with that said, at least with the hunter side of the talents, as you can see here for marksmanship, you do get access to High Explosive Trap and Tar Trap as well. You just might find yourself not really using High Explosive Trap that much and preferring Tar Trap. But the High Explosive Trap is decent, again, if you're soloing or in PvP to like knock a single enemy away if they're pursuing you, so it's still got some use. So there we go, that's a look at that. Again, post your builds down below, you can link them. If you do it on the WoWhead talent calculator, you can share the link in the description below and I can have a look at your build, see what you think, and we can discuss some pros and cons of these talent trees. Overall, I'm quite happy to be honest with these, and I wasn't going to do this, but I played more Hunter, so I thought, you know, I can share my thoughts on this, give a little bit of feedback perhaps. And yeah, I'm interested to see what you think, guys. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been LaserBeast, and if you did like the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel to see more content and guides to World of Warcraft from myself. Thanks guys, have a brilliant day, I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.